Ladies and gentlemen, aviation geeks and frequent flyers, welcome to this new Simple Aviation video. My name is David, and today I will talk about my JetBlue experience and how they canceled my flight and how I missed my connection in San Francisco and how I'm actually not even mad at them. So, let's just go a little bit back. I was flying on JetBlue on August 28th of this year, and I needed to go from Las Vegas to San Francisco. My flight would have arrived in San Francisco, and then I would have had 5 hours to transfer to a WOW Air flight from San Francisco to Reykjavik in Iceland. And the flights were booked separately. So there was the JetBlue booking and there was the WOW Air booking. And of course, now nobody really feels responsible for the other flight. If like something is delayed, they don't really care for the other flight. So you always have a certain risk if you book separate bookings with a connection. But I figure that 5 hours is a long enough layover for even if there is a delay of 2 hours, I could still make my flight. So I booked this JetBlue flight because I've never flown with JetBlue before and I wanted to get you a trip report of them. And little spoiler alert, I don't have a trip report of them. So on the day of travel on August 28th, everything started out pretty much exactly like with every other flight. I left my hotel, went to the airport, I checked in, I went through security, I waited a little at the gate, then we boarded the flight on time. The captain made its pre-flight announcement.
Again, this is JetBlue Flight 2589 from service to San Francisco. Thanks for joining us today and welcome on board.
And then we pushed out of the parking position, the captain started the engines, and then we were taxiing on the tarmac for like 300 feet until the aircraft came to a stop. And I honestly didn't even realize the aircraft came to a stop and that we were sitting there for apparently around 10 minutes. And then like out of nowhere, it was like a complete surprise, and I didn't record this because I didn't expect an announcement at that point. The captain made an announcement that there was a technical problem, and he was quite precise. So he wasn't like, we have a technical problem, we'll sit here for a few more minutes. He said that there was a fault warning concerning the steering of the aircraft, and that they were now coordinating with operations control and with maintenance to see which is the best solution for the problem. So we're sitting there for another 10 minutes approximately. And then the captain turned off the engines and he told us that we had to return to the gate because they couldn't figure out the solution for the problem. So we went back to the gate, the jet bridge connected, everyone stayed seated, and an aircraft technician from JetBlue came on board, went into the cockpit, and like they coordinated with the pilots what the best solution was.
I know it's frustrating, we're doing our best to get you there quickly and safely. But they're hooking up external air right now. It should cool off a little bit more in the cabin, but thanks for your patience. I know it's hot back there, but we're doing our best to get going here. Thank you.
So then the captain made another announcement telling us that it wasn't actually the steering which was the problem. There's another part, like a sensor or something, that caused a fault warning for the steering, and this part had to be replaced. And they were now figuring out what the fastest way to replace this part was, and until then everyone had to deplane.
The brake system control unit, which is a computer on board the aircraft. So we're going to have to, everybody's going to have to deplane, and then we're going to ops test it, and then we're going to inform everybody. I really apologize, but like I said, this is the way we're going to decide to proceed.
So I immediately went out the gate, and the airport staff, the gate staff, JetBlue put 4 people at the gate desk so that they had enough people there to handle everyone's concerns. And they handed out dinner vouchers, so that I think it's like a coupon for a $15 dinner, which is accepted almost everywhere at the airport, which was very nice, and they already had them printed, so people got out and they immediately handed you the $15 dinner voucher. And I was immediately talking to the gate staff that I had a connecting flight to Europe on a separate booking, so of course they couldn't access my booking, they couldn't change that, they couldn't like tell WOW Air he's gonna be late, or they couldn't through check my bag. They had literally no access to that booking because it wasn't a JetBlue booking, which makes perfect sense, of course. But I told him that I need to get to San Francisco ASAP. And the gate agent with whom I was talking was just amazing. That was one of the best people I've ever met in all of my flying. It was a woman called Rachel. It was an Irish name. It wasn't spelled Rachel. I think it's called Rachel. She did an amazing job. She was so friendly and caring and attentive, and she was really working with me to find the best solution for me. So she offered me, do you want me to book you on a flight today, or do you want me to book you on a flight tomorrow? And of course, I wanted to try everything to get to San Francisco that day. And there would have been a possibility to get to San Francisco in time. There was a Virgin America flight boarding a few gates further, and they could have put me on one of the last seats that were available. The only problem was I had a bag checked with JetBlue. So there was one of the 150 bags in the hold of the plane was mine. And finding that bag, bringing it to the Virgin America plane and loading it onto the plane would have taken more than 10 minutes until the Virgin America flight was scheduled to depart. So there were two options. Either I could choose a different flight where my bag would also make it, or I could risk losing my bag forever. Because just imagine how difficult it would be to find a bag and get it delivered to Europe if you're traveling on JetBlue, you were rebooked on Virgin America, then continuing on the WOW Air flight. And this bag, I assume this bag would have never made it back into my hands. So I figured that it's better to look for a different possibility. Now, was there a possibility to rebook the WOW Air flight? For me, no, because I had to be in Vienna as fast as possible because I was flying out to New York the next day. And WOW Air didn't have a flight the next day. They had the next flight to Reykjavik was in 2 days. So rebooking on this flight would have cost me to arrive in Vienna too late to reach my flight to New York. So I needed to find a solution that was not WOW Air. So I looked online, looked for flights to Vienna, and I immediately found a very, very cheap ticket on Finnair, which was amazing. Like, there was a 340 euro return ticket from San Francisco to Vienna, which is like one of the cheapest possible fares you can have on that route. So I was really, really happy to have found this ticket, and I immediately booked it for the next day to fly from San Francisco to Vienna. And then again, the gate agent, Rochelle, was working with me. She was like, do you want to depart Las Vegas in the morning, or like a little later, or do you want to depart in the evening? And because the Finnair flight left in the evening, I wanted to have a flight that got me into San Francisco on time, but a flight where I also didn't have to get up at 6 a.m. So I chose a flight at 11 a.m., which was unfortunately, well, not that unfortunately, it was operated by Virgin America, which is an airline I really like, but I have reviewed Virgin America before. You might check it out right there. And I really wanted to review JetBlue, but in this case, there was no other option. And on top of that, they didn't just rebook me on a regular Virgin America ticket. They put me into a main cabin select ticket, which is like Virgin America's premium economy class. So you were able to select first row seats, seats with more leg room. You had a free checked bag, you had a free snack and a free beverage aboard. So it was like a really nice experience, and it was definitely an upgrade from the basic economy fare I booked with JetBlue. I think you would also have gotten a little snack and a drink there, but you wouldn't have had the extra legroom seat. So it was a nice upgrade they gave me on Virgin America as well. And then this is what really was amazing. Like, she started to print out vouchers for me, because vouchers are these like little coupons that get you free stuff at an airport or anywhere. So as I had to stay in Las Vegas for another night, JetBlue put me into a hotel. They put me in a hotel in the south of Las Vegas. It was a very nice hotel. And they gave me a voucher for that. Then they handed me the dinner voucher that everyone else got. Then Rochelle handed me a second dinner voucher saying I should get like a bottle of water, get something for the hotel room so that I have a little snack or a bottle of water at night. Then she handed me the taxi voucher so I could get a taxi cab ride from the airport to the hotel, and another voucher from the hotel back to the airport. And then she also handed me a voucher for breakfast at the airport for the next morning, which was like an $8 breakfast voucher. So all in all, I was leaving there with like this ticket vouchers for hotel, 2 taxi cab rides, 2 dinner vouchers, and a breakfast voucher. And it's like JetBlue took care of everything. And I didn't, that wasn't like hanging in the line of customer service for 10 minutes. That was directly at the gate. That all happened like 20 minutes after I left the plane. I had the ticket for the next flight the next morning, the hotel, the taxi, the dinner, the breakfast. They took care of everything. And that's just amazing. And at the same time, they kept, through airport announcement, they kept everyone informed about what is happening. And just after I was finished with all the rebooking stuff, because I wouldn't reach my flight in San Francisco anymore, so I want to stay in Las Vegas for more night, they announced that the flight was officially canceled. It wasn't delayed anymore, it was canceled. Because the replacement part would have had to be flown in from Long Beach, California, which is JetBlue's maintenance base for the West Coast, because it didn't have the part here in Las Vegas. So they needed a few more hours to fix that. Then everyone got rebooked, and I was really happy to be among the first people to rebook, because I had a very special situation there. A lot of other people also got rebooked right away, because they were like, I need to get to San Francisco today, I need to get there as fast as possible. So we were rebooked on different flights, on Virgin America flights, and JetBlue flights later that day. And all in all, this situation was just, it inconvenienced me, yes, of course. And I had to pay 340 euros to get a different flight to Europe, which is expensive. And you might now think, yeah, but David, why don't you ask JetBlue to give you the money back, because it was their fault? Actually, it was I would like to be mad at JetBlue, but in this situation, it's wrong to be mad at the airline. If even you can be mad at the company which produced the part that broke, which caused the airplane to fail, which caused the airline to have to cancel the flight. So it wasn't actually the airline's fault. And of course, I understand that airlines take safety over getting their passengers to their destination on time. Every airline does, and that's important. But JetBlue they did such an amazing job with handling this delay situation and keeping the passengers informed. They put out the vouchers right away. You didn't have to ask. They were like, we have vouchers at the gate desk. Get here, show us your ticket, and you get your free dinner voucher. They got me rebooked right away. They got my hotel booked right away. They got my taxi vouchers. They got my breakfast vouchers. If she said, and this is your breakfast voucher, I was like, what? You give me a breakfast voucher? Some airlines are just like, okay, a flight is canceled. Now, contact the customer service. I don't care about this. But the JetBlue employees at the gate desk and in the airplane, they were so... they were really committed to providing a good experience, even though there was this technical problem. So what's the conclusion to all of this? First of all, I want to outline all the things that JetBlue did right, and that, in my opinion, every other airline on this planet should do if there is a problem like that. The captain kept the passengers informed. He told them exactly what was the problem. He wasn't like, there is a technical problem, we're trying to figure it out. He was like, we have a problem with the steering, there is a fault warning, we're coordinating with maintenance and operations control, what's the best possible option here? Then we were taxiing back into the parking position. I didn't have any problem with the temperature on board, but apparently the captain and the flight crew were very concerned about it getting too hot in the plane, because the engines were turned off, so there was no air condition. And Las Vegas isn't the coolest place in mid-August. So they were like, put down the window shades, we're connecting the aircraft to a special AC unit, so that we tried to keep it as cool as possible in the plane here. And it was a comfortable situation. The in-flight entertainment was still working. I could still watch live TV on the airplane, even though we're sitting at the gate with no engine power. And they kept us informed through the whole stay on the ground. We went in the terminal, they handed out the dinner vouchers right away, which was also a very nice gesture. They kept us informed in the terminal building. And for my special situation, I approached them saying, I have a special situation. I need to get to San Francisco on time for my flight to Europe. They were trying to figure out a possible solution for me. They were really working with me. They were explaining why they can't rebook my flight to Europe, which is totally understandable. They are not WOW Air. They can access that booking. We tried to figure out a solution, and we found the best possible solution for that situation, by far. So financially, let's just narrow it down. So the flight ticket was $75. they handed me 2 dinner vouchers worth, I think, either $12 or $15, which would total to about $25 to $30 total worth. They handed me a breakfast voucher, which was worth $8. They gave me a free night at a hotel, which is, let's say, a cheap hotel in Las Vegas will be around $50 a night. They handed me the 2 taxi cab vouchers, which is probably like $15 each way. And then in addition to that, they gave me $150 in JetBlue credits. So I could now go to JetBlue.com and book a flight, any flight, for $150. And like all of that is already worth more than $75. So JetBlue really went over the line to provide the best possible service. And this wasn't just a special treatment for me. This is what everyone would have gotten. And JetBlue canceled my flight, and I had to rebook to a different flight, and it was an inconvenient situation. But they handled it so well that after that, I think of JetBlue just as highly as I did before. And people who say that JetBlue is a great airline, you need to try them. People who told me that, they were right. Because even though the flight was canceled and I didn't actually have a whole flight with them, it was a great situation. Rochelle, the gate agent, she was so nice and she was so professional and so friendly and so helpful. And she was like really caring and feeling with me like she understood my situation. She did everything in her power to make the situation as comfortable as it could get. So where does it leave me with that? I don't have a JetBlue flight booked. I would love to fly with JetBlue again. Maybe I'll use the $150 credit to get a transcontinental ticket because I would really love to try their New York to Los Angeles product. But until I'm back in the United States, this leaves me without a JetBlue video, and this video will be the only JetBlue video I have. So until then, enjoy our other tour reports. We will publish a new tour report on Lion Air 737 flying from Denpasar to Jakarta this Friday, and then one last Air Berlin tour report on Monday. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to know more, as always, leave a comment below. The flight details, by the way, if you want to check that this really happened and I didn't make this up, it was flight B62589 traveling from Las Vegas to San Francisco on August 28th, 2017. So this really happened. JetBlue didn't pay me for that. They didn't even know I was on board. They don't pay me to make this video. And I'm really like, if any other airline employee watches that, this is how you handle a canceled flight situation. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for a new vlog next Wednesday.